Raise your hand if you've ever tried to check one quick thing on your phone and suddenly it's 3 hours later you're deep in a rabbit hole about medieval cheese laws and you forgot what day it is.
All the cheese. We've all been there. Our screens help us stay connected, but they can also leave us frazzled, foggy, and more than a little fried.
Welcome to Library-ish. Today we're pressing pause on the digital chaos and taking you on a library-powered path to calm. No judgment, no detox tea required. We're talking about DIY digital detoxing, library style. Let's go. Digital detox.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because I'm a 90s kid. And, 80s, 90s, we didn't have all this social media thing. I mean, I was around for the first MySpace. Do you remember MySpace, Traci?
I do.
Yeah.
I was a little too old for MySpace. I was a little too, not that that stopped other people my age, but I was a little
It was
too.
a neat thing.
Yeah, it was very cool. But I do remember it and how popular it was. My goodness.
It was so popular. I've got a friend, she and her husband have been married many, many, many years. And when they first met, she actually passed him her MySpace address instead of her phone number.
That's adorable.
I'm serious. He worked at a bookstore, and she was shopping at the bookstore, and he was a cashier, and she just kind of wrote it down on a piece of paper and slid him her MySpace address, and he looked it up later, and then he was able to contact her with that, and it was super adorable. And this was when I was in high school. MySpace was a new thing, and I remember building my MySpace, putting on the clips that described me and all the fun stuff.
Tim as your first MySpace friend, wasn't it Tim?
Oh, I don't remember that.
The guy?
Yeah, no, there was a guy.
Yeah, in the white shirt, the like developer.
Yeah.
It was like, here's your first MySpace friend.
Isn't it adorable? Yeah, and then Facebook came and went.
Or Tom.
And was it Tom? It might have been Tom.
Yeah. I think it was Tom.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, too old.
That's okay. That's okay.
Don't remember.
But then after a while, Facebook came around and they kicked away MySpace. And now we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have CapCut, we have Snap, there's so many social media platforms
there's
now.
A lot of options.
There
available.
is,
But part of what happens with that is we spend so much time online these days, just sort of browsing around, looking for things. The algorithm feeds us information because it knows that we're going to be interested in these things to some degree. So there we have, our lives are like completely online. I know that sometimes I get the whole, this is how much your average of how much time you've spent online over this last week. And sometimes the number is so shocking of how much time I've spent per day. So actually doing a digital detox is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is why this topic sort of jumped to mind.
Here's the thing. The digital world is addicting because it makes life so convenient.
Yes, it does.
Amazon makes shopping so convenient, and it's all online. I can get groceries delivered to my house all online. I can get DoorDash food all online. I can get my news online. I can watch my shows online. I can with social media, connect with friends online. I never have to leave the house again, and it's the different, like if you think of eating, it's so very easy to become addicted and overeat.
Absolutely.
And it's something that you need to do. I need to eat to live.
And it's kind of that way in a way with being online.
Exactly.
Because especially for us, where information is our stock and trade, we have to spend a lot of time online working. We're doing research. We're looking for programs to do. We're sourcing materials that we need to purchase to use for programs.
It's necessary.
And what makes that so terrible is, they're saying that it actually is impacting the parts of our brain that manage language, navigation, things like that.
See, here's the thing about your brain. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use your ability to navigate, to
Yeah.
look around and see where you are, to determine, am I going north, am I going south, am I going east, so on and so forth. If you don't utilize these things that your brain is capable of, your brain will stop doing it, because it's just like a muscle, you know. If you don't use it, you're not going to have it.
And those
And
synapses travel those little
right.
pathways. If you don't keep burning those pathways, they just,
Well,
it's
your
like
brain's
beep.
not gonna, it's not a hoarder, your brain. It's not gonna keep that gum
Mm-mm.
wrapper because we might need it eventually. You know, it doesn't do that. It makes itself so that you can utilize it and you
Yes.
can utilize the pieces. So if you don't use it, your brain just assumes that we don't need it,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely. And that brings us to sort of like some of the reasons why there's actual science behind the whole idea of taking a digital detox. Excessive screen time causes reduced attention span and mental fatigue.
Yep.
So you essentially spend a lot of your time, even if you're not doing things that are mentally taxing, your brain is just tired no matter what.
So I have a theory. I have a theory based on
Mm.
that, because I've been looking at statistics and everything, and there's a giant portion of the United States of America
Mhm.
at this moment in time that I think it's in the 50s, 50% or so,
Yeah.
that they don't have a reading level above 6th grade, and they
Yes.
don't read for fun, and they just don't enjoy reading or anything like that. And when you look around nowadays, you see everybody on their phones.
Yeah.
You see everybody, you know, down looking down, you know, everybody's doing this stuff on their phones. And that doesn't involve your brain to have any more activity than just kind of looking. Same with
Mhm.
remember when the TV first came out, everyone's like, it's the idiot box, it'll make you dumb, you know, and
Mhm.
your brain doesn't get exercise looking at the phone. Your brain doesn't get exercise watching the TV. Your brain doesn't get exercised.
Mhm.
And if your brain doesn't get exercise, like we just said, your brain will stop functioning in the way it needs to function. So you need to read. You need to turn off, and you
Mhm.
need to do things that involve your brain actually exercising in
Yeah.
order for it to stay at optimum use,
Yeah.
or else you will lose it,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh no, 100%. Being on the internet activates different centers of the brain than doing things that we would traditionally do, like
Mhm.
reading, being outside,
Mhm.
exercising. Internet engagement and online engagement activates a totally different portion of the brain. And because it's a largely passive activity, you're not developing and maintaining the same
Mhm.
cognitive skill that you have to when you're doing something manually or you're
Mhm.
doing other activities. Another bad issue with digital use is blue light from digital devices like phones, tablets, things like
Mhm.
that. They're really bad with disrupting your sleep. And pretty much every recommendation I've seen, even for television, says that you shouldn't be looking at anything that is light projecting once you're about an hour before your sleep time. So, which
I'm
I, of course, flout that one. I am terrible. I have a TV. I have the TV going, and I have the phone, and I'm back and forth, and it's
I
terrible.
do the same. I have the TV running and I'm on my cell phone. I need both of them in order to concentrate. Anyway,
Yes,
no, my thing is, and I know you do this too, and I know we all do. I know you
yes,
do
you
it.
do it.
Is you'll go to sleep and then you'll wake up at like 2 in the morning and you'll reach over for your phone
Three
just to see
thirty,
the time.
3:30,
3:30.
3:30
Excellent.
is my time.
Excellent. But you'll wake up and you'll reach for your phone, because we don't have clocks in our houses anymore. You'll reach for your phone to check the time, and then once it's in front of you, you'll be like, well, let's see what else is going
Might as
on.
well.
Might as well. I'm up. Let's see. Let's look at the TikToks. Let's look at the Facebooks. Look at that.
Instagram is,
Instagram. You know, and you'll sit there thinking, well, I'm up for a little while. Maybe I'll just do this. But the thing is, you think that it's going to help you fall back asleep.
right.
It doesn't. It does the opposite. The opposite it does. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
then with that little blue light and with everything, and your brain kind of like, okay, well, I guess now we're awake. Here we are.
Yeah, the blue light literally disrupts melatonin production
Mm-hmm.
and your circadian rhythm. And
Mm-hmm.
both of those just completely disrupt
And
your sleep.
you need sleep. I'm sorry, you
Oh
do.
my
I know we
lord,
all think that we
yes.
can, you know, be like tough army men and run off of 4 hours of sleep. And but that's just not true. You need sleep. Your brain needs sleep. Help your brain.
Yes, no,
You
please.
know? Yeah.
There's also a thing called computer vision syndrome, which is basically digital eye strain, which comes from keeping your focal length at a particular length persistently for too long a period of time. So that's whether it's a computer screen and you're not looking above and extending your vision towards something further out, or whether it's keeping it right in front of you with a phone. Your eyeballs have their muscles in there, and there are all kinds of things that have to work. And if you keep that stasis, if you're persistently keeping your eyes at a particular focal length, you're giving yourself eye strain. It's going to affect your eyesight.
Oh yeah, and that'll give you headaches, and that's no good.
Yeah.
No, it's funny you're mentioning this. I walked in on my daughter. She was at the dining room table, and she had her iPad out. This is my 8-year-old, and she had her iPad out, and she like it's right here, and she's literally, you know, like this. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm watching my show." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You're about to eat your show. You're just like this far away. How is this watching your show? I don't. Does it smell good? What's the deal?" And she's like, "Well," I'm like, "Sit back." And so she sits back and then pulls it right here. Just okay.
That's hilarious.
Let's separate the two of you.
The point was,
you know, kids. Okay, well, if I'm going to sit back, you know,
yeah, exactly.
Like, no, you're hurting your eyes. You can't do that. They put it. You know what? Better yet, turn it off and eat. You know, that's where we are now. Turn it off and eat. You're at the dinner table. Turn it off and eat.
Can you imagine? I remember the days when people wouldn't let their kids watch TV during meals.
Right?
Like that was the whole TV dinner. It was like, here's a revolutionary idea. Let's put our food on a tray and bring it in the living room and eat in front of the TV.
The age of TV dinners.
Yes.
They still make those, right?
TV dinners? I mean, that's what a frozen dinner is the TV dinner.
The TV dinner. You'd have your own little tray in front of you, and you'd have the TV right there. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Another thing, too, to keep in mind is that high screen use will affect your mood, especially with social media, depending on how impacted you are by the kind of content you like to watch. It can be correlated with increased anxiety, depression, low self-esteem. This is particularly with young people because much of the way our society is built is conditional on comparing yourself to other people. And since social media, so much of it is about showing off, even though a lot of it is false, forget the AI stuff. Forget what that's doing. But like literally just the real and fake lifestyle.
I hate social media, man. I do. I know we at the library, we use it a lot. You see us advertising on social media. You see
you have to. It's a marketing tool.
We always want you to comment on our videos. We always want to hear from you because we want to connect with you. But as a whole, I hate social media, man. My oldest daughter, which you've heard me talk about her a couple of times, she just turned 13. She's my brand new teenager. I have a teenager at home. She's not allowed to have any social media whatsoever. She has a cell phone, but it's just for calling her friends and texting and stuff like that. She has no social media. She's not allowed at all because I'm sorry. And it's that disconnect. It's that thinking, you know, like when you get road rage, people are meaner inside their car, you know, than straight in front of you.
Or on the phone.
Because there's that disconnect.
On the phone because they feel there's the anonymity. So they feel like nobody knows who they really are.
And they just...
Or you can't really find me.
Right.
To me, it's one of those things that if there should be courtesy across the board. If you're a kind person, and you should be a kind person online, there's no reason not to. And as I heard somebody say recently, never really heard of a very successful person that feels like they have to go and be mean to people online.
No.
It's not really a formula for a personality type that is going to flourish in any social aspect, whether it's online or offline. Like you have something you need to deal with. That's not how to deal.
And you know, here's the thing: the people who are bullies online and are successful, that's not something to be proud of. Not the success itself, but when you're a bully online, it really taints the success that you've earned.
Anybody that punches
just
down is
saying,
obnoxious.
you
If you're punching down, you're obnoxious. I don't
really.
care what forum you're in. I don't care what, your excuse is. And if you're punching down on people, it's obnoxious.
Yeah, everybody roots for the underdog. No one roots for the bully.
Absolutely
and it's just,
not.
and I'm not going to continue with that any longer, but it's still,
yeah, exactly that.
But here's the thing though, if you are finding that you do have that feeling that you're like, I'm stressed, I'm depressed, and you find that you're looking at social media a lot, it's not uncommon to take a social media break, to just kind of turn it off for a little bit, do a little detox. And I was just talking with one of our patrons up here, and we're in Paradise. And I was just talking with one of my.
We sort of changed our background.
Isn't this lovely? We have a book sale here, and these are books that are for sale.
Yeah, and so I must apologize how many times to the people who have actually watched our videos of this podcast and who have been staring at the outlets between us.
It's the star of the show.
Yeah, I know. But I just decided, maybe we don't need to do that anymore. Maybe switch it around.
I kind of miss it.
I know. I'm sure we're going to get lots. Put it in the comments. Do you miss the outlets?
Do you miss the outlets?
Yeah. Subscribe, like, and then put it in the comments.
The fire extinguisher box.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. No, we were talking because we were. With kids nowadays, we want our kids to grow. We want them to be healthy, happy, and whole. And we want to present them with the best possible childhood. Now, it might not be, get out there, it's sunny, the hose is there if you're thirsty, click, click, come back when it's dark.
Yeah.
It might not be that, but at the same time, we have to be wary of how social media is affecting these kids. And there are kids out there that, because of the bullying they get from social media, because of all of this negative, toxic, the responses that they get, some kids will actually unalive themselves because of this.
It has definitely happened.
And that is worst case for every parent, to imagine their kids in that situation.
Yeah.
So if you do feel like you're going through this or anything like that, take a break, take a step back. The world is not going to stop because you didn't like Mr. Wapapapa's photo,
That's the thing, is that, there's a connectedness that comes with social media that is wonderful. Communities can build. You have things like Discord and other platforms where communities build over like interests, and you're able to connect with people all over the world. Gaming platforms offer the same thing. And that's so wonderful to be able to find people with like interests, especially if you feel a little isolated, to have that connection.
That's beautiful.
It's wonderful. However, there are also opportunities for you to be able to do that in real life. And that's part of what we're going to talk about too. That's some of what the library offers. I think that we've become so dependent on this easy way of connecting to other people that we've sort of forgotten that you can actually do it in a material way, in the material plane. And
that's what the library is good at.
That's
why we're here, darling. Come and see us.
This is what we do.
This is my job. It's what I do.
Yes.
The library
we offer a lot of ways to do it. And I think that this is and it's for all ages. If you have a kid that's having issues, if you're having issues, we have something for everybody. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what we have to offer and how we can help if you're planning to do this digital detox thing. Some people recommend 24 hours is good, some 48, some do longer.
Yeah, I'd like to do longer. I'd like to throw all of my devices in the toilet sometime and just press flush and watch them spin.
Yeah, exactly.
But but we need it. We do. It's like food, in moderation. Everything in moderation, obviously. However, when it comes to the library, there are lots of opportunities to socialize in real life and things like that. For just to get started, we have things like our book clubs that we have our sci-fi book club, and we have our historical fiction book club. Paradise is going to have a book club. We have a regular fiction book club going on that's offered by the Friends of the Library.
We've got stuff coming up too. We're hoping to start more book clubs, and we've got them coming up. So
some other things that we have outside of book clubs is the Ugly Art Club, like down in Chico.
Yes, programming. Programming is a great way to digitally detox, because you get to come in, you get to have a new experience, but then you also get to meet people who are also interested. Like we also have, there's the art club in Chico, but there's also the knitting group that is in Durham right now. They're also
Durham Pearls.
Yes, the Durham Pearls.
Yes.
Anybody can go into that branch and you can learn how to knit. Doesn't matter what skill you are at.
Orville, Knitter Natter.
Orville has Knitter Natter. You can come in. It doesn't matter what skill. You go and you can learn to knit. There are people there who are willing to teach you. And if you're already working on a project, you can come and continue working and have someone to talk to. So you're not doing it by yourself. For many of these, you need to bring your own materials. Some of them you don't. You can contact the branches to figure out which is which.
Now for, I know Ugly Art Club, you're provided with everything.
Yes.
For free. None of this costs any money. You're provided with everything. And it's a no judgment zone. And the person who organizes it and presents it, they pick every month. It's a different form of art. I know that they did clay at one point in time. I know that they did acrylic painting. They pick a different
they're always
form.
doing different mediums all the time.
Yeah, medium. Thank you. And they present this, and it's for people who are not experts, people who have never tried this before. And they're just like, I want to get out of the house. I'm curious. I'm broke. I'm going to go down to the library.
And I've always wanted to paint with watercolor.
Right.
And I've never had the chance. And I'm afraid the thing about the ugly portion is for people that are concerned about going to an art class and being judged and, oh, you look at how crap you are and you don't know how to do this and you don't know how to do that. That's the point of the Ugly Art Club. Come in and just do whatever you want to do. It's to have the experience, not to necessarily come out with something beautiful. You're there to just paint. And that's the best way to get started. That lack of judgment is so huge.
And you know what? The big thing is when you take your digital detox and you take a break from the social media and all that stuff, and you come in and you physically socialize with these people and you create something, you're going to feel better. You're not going to feel down. You're not going to feel depressed. You're going to feel better, and your brain will thank you for it.
Well, we're social animals, and it's really important to socialize, even if you don't like to. I'm not the kind of person that tends to lean towards socialization, but when I do it, I always feel better afterwards. There's rarely a time where I socialize with other people and afterwards I'm like, oh.
See, but that's also why this
it does happen, but it's rare.
That's also why this is once a month.
Yes.
So, you know, us people that are like, I just kind of want to sit in my cave and read my book, we can go out this once a month. We can socialize. We can make our little doodad, and then we go back into our cave for the rest of the month.
Exactly. And take it, we go away.
But it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. And here's the thing. Let's say that you have social anxiety. Being around a bunch of people, it just isn't for you. We do offer books on how to do things. And sure, you can watch a YouTube video. But the thing about a book is you have the whole visual thing right there. You have the example. You don't have to pause, rewind, find the right spot. It's so easy to just have that book in front of you with the directions on how to knit, how to craft, how to woodwork, how to do whatever you want to do.
We have those.
Yes, absolutely. So you can come and check out a book on how to do these skills too. The programming is great because of that social aspect. But if that's a little much for you and you'd rather just really sort of center yourself and be on your own, a little more meditative, we offer all sorts of how-to books, cooking, everything that you can do on your own and at your own pace. So that maybe you do that before and then you come to a program and interact with other people if you're more comfortable knowing the skills before you walk in. So that's another thing you can do too. Plenty of
and you know what? We have because I know I have 3 girls, but I used to have 1 girl before I had the other 2. And as a new mom, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know.
You didn't get the manual?
I didn't. I was missed getting the manual. But apparently my mother-in-law got it and was able to tell me everything I did wrong. Anyway,
I think that's the mother-in-law's job.
It really
that's what
is.
I've heard anyway.
You know,
I really wouldn't know.
That's how they do it. They send the mother-in-law the manual so the mother-in-law can tell you every single thing you do wrong, and then that's how you do. Anyway, but when I had my first kid, it was nice to be around other moms who were able to give me advice, were able to say, oh yeah, my kid did this. So that's why we have here baby story times, baby love books, so that moms with babies can, socialize with other moms and can be like, oh, my kid did this. My kid doesn't crawl. They scoot on their butt across the room, which is what my kid did, and we can talk about this. And it's a little easier, I think, a little easier and more fulfilling to do it in person than to just be like, my kid doesn't crawl. What does that mean? And then you have all these spews of answers. That's weird. Take them to the doctor. Your kid's messed up. Blah, 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 blah.
Even looking at WebMD or other sites like that, very often they will go to the most catastrophic answer,
right,
for whatever input you use, for whatever your question is. Meanwhile, if you come and you talk to other people that are having similar experiences, you're able to pool your information, which is so helpful. And, talk about the comparison aspect of social media. Whereas social media might make you feel a little FOMO, which is fear of missing out. In other words,
I'm so happy you did that, because my brain's like, FOMO, I should know this.
Yeah, it was a fear of missing out. They make you feel like, oh, I'm at this age or at this stage in my life, at this career stage, I should be like that person instead. When you come and meet people in real life and you see that people are more alike than they are different, talk about something that can help you deal with anxiety and depression. Just finding that commonality, that community with people is so important.
That's delightful.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing you can do, one of the things that our library is offering over the summer is lunch at the library.
Speaking of eating.
This is for, yes, exactly. Here's a segue for you. It's for families. And essentially, the Oroville branch, you can actually come. We do have a lunch service. You can find out the information for that online, the times, and it's Monday through Friday. But we also do make and take kits and visit local schools that are also offering lunch pop-ups over the summer. And we bring crafts. The live
make
lunch,
and take kits.
Yeah, they're make and take kits or grab and goes, whichever you prefer. And you can bring your kids to these events. You can grab a craft. The live lunch at the library that we do at Oroville, it actually includes an activity or a craft every single day. And so this is a great way for the whole family to get out of the house and go and do something. And
it's usually a really fun craft. Last year I got pulled in there and they were doing shaving cream art, which is very messy and very fun. It's
so much fun.
It is. And it's one of those things that you don't want to do at home because it's so messy. So you come and do it here. Make a mess here. We get paid to clean it up. Come, have fun, get messy with your kids, leave a giant mess. I got you, girl.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's that's what we do.
That's literally my job.
Yes.
But they do this at lunch at the library. They'll have something that's super interactive like this. So you can bring the kids, you get free food. The kids would eat, and then you can go and do this fun activity with your kids for free. Did I mention it was free?
No, I think it's free.
It's free. There's no cost whatsoever. And then at the pop-ups that happen in Paradise and Chico, so that is just Paradise and Chico, right? They have the pop-ups?
Yes.
Okay. At the pop-ups, what you would do is you would go up and you would get the free food offered by the school district usually. And then before you leave, one of our lovely employees would be up here from Paradise. It's Joe. Joe's fantastic. He is new here, and he is going to be doing a lot of new programming with the library. And he's just a great guy.
We've got a big fall coming up. I've said it a bunch of times.
Lots of stuff coming, and Joe's a big piece of that. But he's doing, you'll see him with little crafts, like Tracy called them, a take and make. It's a little baggie provided by the library, and inside is a fun little craft for you to do with the kiddos. And you would just grab one of those and take it home with your food, and you can yum, 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 and then you can craft, and it's a lot of fun.
Right. And by the way, with both of those, the in-house lunch and the pop-ups, you get a free book too for the littles. All the littles get a free book. So, I mean, it's just a great way to get out for the whole family and a great way to interact with other people.
Without the use of digitized stuff.
No devices or anything like that. Now, let's say, talk about getting out. What about nature? The library has nature guides. You can come and the local hikes, California park passes, so you can come and check out a park pass that will cover your parking at any California
state park.
at any California State Park that you want to go to?
There's a list on the pass.
Yes.
So when you check out the pass, there's a website on the back, and it'll show you the ones that you can use it at. But it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of places you can use
there's
these
lots of California State parks. They're also available online. The list is available too. We also have camping equipment available through our Library of Things.
Yeah.
So we have camping equipment, we have telescope, we have all sorts of things that you can actually check out with your library card. You do have to do that through the Oroville branch specifically. You have to check it out there, and then it must be returned there. But so many outdoor things you could do. So if you don't have a tent, you don't have all the things you need to do camping stuff, check them out from the Oroville branch, and camping chairs and all that stuff, and you're outfitted. Another great thing about the Library of Things is, let's say you're not an outdoorsy person.
That's fair.
But you want to pick up a hobby, fabric crafts are not that big a thing for you. We have instruments with the Library of Things. We have keyboards. We have ukuleles. Ukulele.
The ukulele. That's how they say it in Hawaii. The ukulele.
That's the actual correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
So we have, you can actually learn a new skill too when it comes to, and shoot, with the Library of Things, maybe there's some stuff around the house you want to get done. The power washer, the tree trimming.
Please be careful with that. These
things,
these things can be tools and not toys. Please be careful with anything you check out from the, because you do sign a waiver, so we're not worried about that, but we kind of like you. So please be careful. We don't want to see anybody hurt.
Yes. But maybe one of the ways you can detox is by doing some stuff around your property, doing some stuff around the house. And we have things with the Library of Things that can help you with that.
So whether you take a full day off from your phone or just swap one scroll session for a cozy book, remember, every little break helps.
That's right. And your library's here for all of it. With puzzles, paperbacks, paint nights, and peaceful places to just be.
Thanks for listening to Library-ish. Unplug when you can, read what you love, and we'll catch you next time with the Wi-Fi off and your library card on deck. Bye-bye.
Bye.